So there is this inner turmoil going on. It's almost like you have a tornado inside of you. That's how this energy feels. And then on the outside, the way that can express is in clashes with other people, because we project all that stuff that we don't want to deal with onto the other. This is a very important aspect this year where we really can expand our inner world. Expand healing the inner child, really understanding what's going on there, why we are constantly in our own way, why we are sabotaging our relationships, why we are sabotaging our work, why we are sabotaging our lives, why we are not where we want to be, what is keeping us back, what is holding us back. This is an aspect that reflects that we are learning about ourselves, we understand ourselves better. Good morning, my loves. Welcome back. So it is Sunday and we are looking at the week ahead. What is going on this week? Let's look at the energies and see what we can learn and what we can accomplish this week, what we can grow into, and what we might have to let go. Now, this is the week from the 21st to the 27th. And the week starts, well, on Monday, but Monday is a pretty calm day. We're still digesting the energies of last week because they were intense, if you remember. I'm sure you remember. And yeah, let's start with Tuesday, the 22nd. On Tuesday the 22nd, we have a big aspect. And I call it a big aspect because it is the last time we will experience this exact aspect in our lifetime. We're talking about the Sun squaring Pluto. Now, the Sun is, as we know, in Libra right now, and Pluto is in Capricorn. Pluto is already direct, right? Pluto stationed direct 2 weeks ago, and Pluto's ready to leave Capricorn for good this time. He's gonna be gone, and we'll not see him again there so long as we live. So this is a big aspect. Now, it is also a very intense aspect. As you know, because I talk about it all the time, the square aspect is the energy of Mars, and it can be a very, very, very exhausting energy. Now, when the Sun, our core essence, but also in this material world, our ego, is meeting Pluto, the soul's intention, the soul's potential, all the possibilities that we see for ourselves in this lifetime. So that clashes in a square. So there is this inner turmoil going on. It's almost like you have a tornado inside of you. That's how this energy feels. And then on the outside, the way that can express is in clashes with other people, because we project all that stuff that we don't want to deal with onto the other. And oftentimes is our partner. If you have a partner, it could also be your mother, your father, your sibling, anyone that is really close to you, but often, it tends to be our partner. And then the question is, what are you supposed to learn here? Probably that you have to get over yourself, go talk to someone, a professional, do some therapy, work through the unconscious layers that are holding you back, right? The conditioning, all that gunk that isn't serving you to get where you want to go. And right now, Mercury is in Scorpio as well. Scorpio ruled by Mars and Pluto. This is a beautiful time to do the deeper work, to go into the deeper layers. What you really checking in with yourself, asking yourself, what is going on? And sometimes, we ruminate and, we ask ourselves the same questions, but we can't really get anywhere. And that's why it is so important to talk to someone that doesn't know us, right? But that understands the psyche, right? That can help us, that can ask questions in a different way, that can relate to us without being related to us, that can be compassionate, but also guide us, help us navigate through those, valleys and mountain tops, the ups and downs. Because sometimes we don't see the forest for the trees. Then at the same day, we have Venus trining the nodes. So Venus is trining the north node, sextiling the south node. I love when Venus is in this aspect with the nodes, because this is like a very beautiful, harmonious energy. Venus has learned something, right? Not everything, but she has learned something that she can now integrate and utilize in her journey of self-discovery, you know, self-love, understanding her self-worth, and then possibly also in relationships, right? She can apply it in relationships, moving forward in a relationship, or approaching a relationship with a different understanding of herself, right? Her feminine energy, Venus, feminine energy, like she can now apply it differently, in a more mature way. She is in her worth. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to stand up for it or walk away if it isn't serving her core needs, her core values, her standards. The interesting thing with the trine is it's not a very conscious aspect, but it is an aspect where we have integrated something already, so that it has become a thing we do, right? It's almost like it became now unconscious again. So we made something unconscious, conscious, we understand it now, we mold it, and then we put it together in the way we need it to serve us. We integrate it, and then we can move forward again from that place. So we've made it conscious, and then we let it sink back into the unconscious, so we can make it a new habit. Now Venus has understood something about her worth, right? She's integrated it, and she's becoming it. And the becoming is always an unconscious movement. The becoming is unconscious. The becoming is not conscious. It was conscious, you know, we made it mentally conscious, right? In the mental sphere, it's conscious. And then, you know, in order to act from it, to make it a visceral thing, a visceral experience, a body experience, a becoming, you know, we have to allow it to sink into the unconscious again. We can make it a habit, because habits are not necessarily conscious. We do things every day and we don't think about them. You know, they like driving your car. You're driving your car, you don't think, okay, now I have to push, you know, I have to push here, and I have to push that, and then I have to push the clutch, and then this and that and that. You don't think about that. You know, you're embodying it. So last but not least, for Tuesday, Mercury trining Saturn, conscious, constructive conversations. So maybe if this relates to a relationship, if this relates to Venus understanding something, Venus embodying something new, now she, you know, she can have a constructive conversation about it, you know, being also very clear, clarity. This can be a day of clear conversations, right? We are clear, but it's a clarity that is not necessarily just in the mental, right? It is an embodied clarity. I'm clear about it. I'm not just mentally clear, I understand it mentally clear. No, I'm embodying it. And now let's talk. What can we do? How can we move forward? Then on the 23rd, we have the sun moving into Scorpio, and Chiron as sextile Jupiter. Now, Chiron sextile Jupiter, I know I've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. I will continue talking about this, because these two are dancing with each other. They have been dancing with each other, and they're still dancing with each other. This is I think, a very important aspect this year, where we really can expand our inner world. Expand healing the inner child, really understanding what's going on there, why we are constantly in our own way, why we are sabotaging our relationships, why we are sabotaging our work, why we are sabotaging our lives, why we are not where we want to be, what is keeping us back, what is holding us back. This is an aspect that reflects that, right? Like, we are learning about ourselves, we understand ourselves better. And yeah, the sun in Scorpio, it's a time where, you know, we are more internally focused. Mercury is already there, so that energy is already present, but now the sun is shining a light on it, and the sun is like reveling in that reflective mode. You know, it's for us in the Northern Hemisphere, it correlates with autumn, and it's that time where we are on the couch cozy with like a drink. Maybe we, you know, wrap up and we go to the park in the afternoons, meet with a friend, and you know, for a coffee, and have like really deep, juicy conversations about, you know, the deeper stuff that is going on within us. Then on the 24th, Mars sextiling Uranus. Now, Mars sextile Uranus is an energy of sudden understandings, and not just understandings, but suddenly I'm ready. I'm ready to go for something that I didn't really understand before. I didn't really grasp it, but now I have this insight, and I'm like, okay, I got to move on it. You know, I've got to move on it right now. It's this really deep yearning of like, I feel that feeling of liberation, and now I can act on it. Right? Like maybe before I was not feeling free, and I was wondering, how can I live freely? And we talked about this last week, interestingly enough, right? Was it last week or even the week before? Where I was talking about your freedom being your responsibility, right? Not your parents, not your husbands, not your friends, not your government. No, it's your responsibility. And you have to understanding it's an inner journey first. It's an inner understanding first. And it's an inner standing. Not just an understanding, but it's an inner standing. You know you're free. You're liberated, right? You got to liberate yourself if you don't feel liberated. And this is an aspect that can, you know, hone this in a little more, because it also makes us like move, right? It's an action-oriented aspect. Then on the 25th, Mercury squaring the moon, very quick aspect, because, you know, the moon is involved, so the moon moves really fast. So this could be a day that is a little annoying and also a little exhausting mentally and emotionally. You know, maybe the week is finally catching up with us. A lot has, you know, occurred, especially that Sun square Pluto was intense, right? It's, you know, it went right down to the bone, really, really deep. And, you know, maybe we are coming off it right now and we are like, okay, what was that? My God. There might be tension within us, and also the need to release. You know, the release might come in form of tears, right? Like that, all that heavy energy, releasing it. Then on the 27th, Sunday, we have Mars trining Neptune. Now, for me, this is, I always call this aspect, trust the flow, right? You go with the flow. And by go with the flow, I mean this literally. You actually go, right? You do something. You're not just sitting back. This is like, I don't really, I might not really understand this thing, but I deeply trust and intuitively know that I have to go and do this now. And I go and do this now. That's this aspect. It's actually a really beautiful Sunday. I mean, this is a beautiful Sunday aspect, right? We can also, we get ready for the week with this aspect in a very harmonious way. Now, a little forecast for next week. We have a new moon in Scorpio. I will have a separate video for that. This is going to be a very, very, very intense moon. Not just because of the moon in itself, but because what else is going on with all the other aspects. Mercury is a huge player in this moon, not directly in aspect with the moon, but Mercury on this day is an aspect with all the other planets, not all of them, but a lot of the other planets. And the moon in itself is in a beautiful trine with Saturn, which is very constructive. And again, will help us work on those deeper layers. Right? If you right now are doing that work, that inner work, I think this is going to be a really rewarding time. It will feel rewarding. It feels rewarding in the way where, oh my God, I understand this now. I get it about myself. I get why I do this and why I do that. I can release this now. I can let this go. There's this understanding. It's a beautiful time, but we'll talk about this in the new moon video. All right, until then, I I wish you a beautiful week. If you have any questions, you know, you can always ask. Also, if you want a personal reading, you can book it by clicking on the link in the description box. Anything else, I'm here for you, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.